You guys remember these? Hey, what's up? I don't think the video is going to my YouTube channel. I'll wait. That's funny. I'm on a weird, I don't know. I'm getting, I think I actually might need a new computer. Damn it. Yeah, I'm getting, it's weird. Like this weird. Can you hear me? Hmm. Might want to pull that banner down. It's no longer Labor Day. Poof. Oh, so anyway, I'm looking. Oh, cool, man. Yeah. So I'm just I don't know if you guys have trading journals, but I'm sifting through my old. I'm looking for to build my track record. I was wondering how many years I should go back to build the track record. I've been doing this since '96. I actually have my trade confirmations from 1997 and on. I don't know where I think 1999. I might have just we did it. We had a good time. There was one point when after 10 years, you don't really need to keep your records anymore. So we had a bonfire party once. I threw a bunch of it, but yeah, we're talking about track records today. So I was wondering, like, how far back you want me to go? 96, 98, 2000, 2001. How many trades? How many trades you want? Or is what I was thinking maybe to get this track record going, if I'm talking to my friends over at Raging Bull. Remember when I was working at Raging Bull? How many trades did I give you guys in a row? Right? You guys remember that US Steel trade? Remember the 8-cent option that went to $2, right? How's my track record after that? An 8-cent option that went to $2, right? After that trade, I could have given you, 20 trades in a row that wouldn't have worked, or even 100 trades that wouldn't have worked, and you still would have been ahead. Wait, hang on. Let me just. Here you go. I bought a bond fund, Nextel. You guys remember Nextel? Right? Nextel. I bought a Nextel bond fund. It was called a convertible debt bond fund when Nextel was, you guys remember McGraw? Yeah, I'm dating myself, but I'm looking through my track record here from 1997. Nextel Bond Fund from David Lerner Associates. And I wound up making 40% on the bond because the company got an influx of cash from a company called McGraw Electronics at the time. Remember that? Track record, right? You guys remember that? Were you there for that? Right. Doesn't matter. Hang on. I got more. Ooh, Enron. That was a good one. Chipotle. Oh, wow. Chipotle at $63 a share. When I said this stock has the potential to go up 10x, it did. Sick track record, man. How many years you want me to go back? So when does the track record start? Should we start just today or 2 days ago? Were you guys with me 2 weeks ago? Remember that Newegg short? Remember when I said you want to short it at 129.50 with a 5-point risk for a possible 100-point trade? You guys, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good trade. Track record, right? Are we counting that one? Or also, are we counting the ones that I did or you did? Or if it was just a trade that was out there, right? Well, that wasn't a good one. I'm not going to talk about the Enron trade. Yeah. I had 10,000 shares of Enron at $7.50. Sorry, at $5. This trade was it was at $7.50, and then it wound up going to 20 cents. Yeah, I won't talk about that one on the track record. Cray, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh, here's one. CMGI at $18 a share. Sold it at 72. Track record. Sick. Sick. Sure, we could go on and on and on. I'm curious. Does anybody give a shit about track records? Serious. Let's have this serious conversation. Does anybody really care? What do you care? What if I told you I had 1,091 trades in a row for profitability? Right? Would you believe me? Well, remember with this conversation, I'm talking to you, raging bullers, and anybody who's paying attention. Remember when we started talking about the streak? That was around 800 something. Right? It's 200 trades later now. Track record, right? And today we had 4 of those show up today, and all 4 work. I don't need to tell you about it, right? You know what trades they are. What do you think they are? CRM, AI, right? CRM, AI. How about Duluth Trading? They make great underwear, right? The thing about the track record is, you know why? Here, there's 2 reasons why it doesn't matter, right? Here's why. The first reason it doesn't matter. Well, there's 3 reasons. To Brian's point, I could just make that shit up, right? Like everybody else does. I can make it up. I could just tell you a story about blah 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 blah. Now you got a track record, right? The second reason track records don't mean anything is who cares what you did in 1996, 2000, 2001, or 3 days ago. What are you going to do for me now is the only thing that matters in this industry. You're only as good as your last trade. I'm only as good as me telling people to buy AI today on the faux show bro, VWAP break to the prior day VWAP, the trade that never fails. And it didn't fail. We got paid all the way up to 1620. And the joke is my target was 1625 and the stock only went to 1624. And I wound up getting stopped out at 1608 on the way back down just now. And I'm not in the trade anymore. How about the FIG, right? Talking about how it's probably going to 0 today. Meanwhile, we wound up trading it long twice today, both for wins. Track record. You guys remember when I got you into the ARM, the IPO? How about the A-Lab? How about the Newegg short? How about that SPAC that I gave you at $11? You know where that SPAC is now? You guys even know what I'm talking about? I gave you a SPAC a couple of weeks ago, right? Not that much volume. I'd warned you about it, but I told you it's an interesting company, and the SPAC is PORT. It was $11. And I explained how this is a SPAC of a company that's going to go public called Angel Studios. And now Angel's pitching their own stock online at $45, and the $11 SPAC that I got people in at 11's at $45. That is some sick track record. How about the quantum stocks? Remember when you met me about a year and a half ago and I said, oh, look, quantum's back. I know about all these stocks. Remember Rigatoni at 92 cents? And I said this has potential to go to $20. Is that part of the track record? I'm not sure. Or when I tell you every time UVXY goes up that you should short it, and then it goes right back down, and now it's at 1175 track record, right? But here's another thing about the track record, and I said there's 3 reasons why the track record don't mean shit. My son, fuckhead that he is, had a great track record. Kenny, your son went 16 for 18 when he was trading your account. Crazy track record. Should start a service. Kid did 16 out of 18 trades for profitability. Incredible. I know, Chris. I know. Track record was awesome. You know what he wound up doing? Losing $3,000. But Kenny, tell me how. How, with a track record as good as that, 16 for 18, it's close to 90%. How could he lose money? Well, I'll explain, Chris. You see, the 16 trades that he won on were $100, $200 wins, and he was doing all right. But the 2 losses, when he shorted Carvana, he lost a couple of grand and a couple of grand. So he went 16 for 18, and that month he netted a $3,000 loss. Track record. Or how about the day when I went 1 for 16, right? Might have told you this story 10,000 times because it's worth telling again. Loss all day. What the hell am I doing with my life? Loss. But with proper risk management and money management, losing, a couple of hundred. Next thing you know, I'm down $2,000 for the day. And that 17th trade going into the close on the Google earnings or reversal, I wound up making myself $4,000 on that trade, and I went 1 for 17 that day. Sell that, baby. Track record, 1 for 17. Shit. You signing up? Put that on a banner right there. Follow Kenny Glick. He goes 1 for 17. And then you show the little P&L in the little corner there. Netted $2,000 for the day. See, that's what we do. That's what we do. We teach you how to actually be a trader. And that's why 30 years later, we're still doing this, right? And all the horrifying mistakes that I've made, all the track records that I've built, all the win-loss ratios, all that stuff, bunch of bullshit. None of it matters because it's all about who I am now and what am I going to do for you going into the future. And now, because I'm a suffering bear in a bull market that never ends. And then again, when the market does correct, I'll be right there to, urge you to take the short side. But right now, shorting is still short-lived and you're going to die. But because I've had pretty good highs, debilitating lows, left the industry basically for 3 years, couldn't get out of my own way. And that has now made me reborn hard, right? As they say in Full Metal Jacket. So now I have I've resurrected my career now for the 6th time, right? And this time's the best one of them all because now I've got something that works, speaking of track records, every time. How's that for a track record? The trade works every time. And we sit here and we look at my dumb face, and you're probably saying to yourself, Kenny, what the heck are you talking about? Nothing works. No. It works every time. And right now, tonight, not only are we going to be talking about my new favorite sector, which is uranium and nuclear, with our pal Don Corleone, otherwise known as Chris, or Chris, otherwise known as Don. We're going to talk about some nuclear stocks, talking about the future. I'm going to talk about his idea meets my technical analysis. So it's a nice yin and yang. He's all about what the companies do, what kind of nuclear fusion they're involved in, this, that, and the other thing, fundamentals, what funds own the stock. The guy's in touch with a dozen analysts. And then I look at the charts and I try to validate all that just with price action. And that's what I do now. I don't really care too much about what companies do. I am interested in the sector, but I'm also just interested in some new names to watch. And, I know it's a hot sector and a lot of these stocks are coming back from the Fukushima disaster. And I love stocks that are still on the comeback because you can tell where they're going to go back to, like the Carvana. You guys remember the Carvana? What's up, Money Map Press? How you doing? Remember when they were pitching you to short Carvana? Remember how it's a worthless company and you should still be shorting it at $12.50? And I said, for the love of God, please don't short the stock. Because when it breaks over 15, it's going to break 17.50. And if it gets through 17.50, it's going to 56 bucks. And when it breaks 56 bucks, it's got 96 all over it. And if it breaks 96, this thing could go to 180. And if it breaks 180, it goes to 250. Look what happened to the stock track record. So to my raging bullers, if you knew me back in the day, maybe you were involved in that wonderful U.S. steel trade when I resurrected that sector. Remember U.S. Steel, Alcoa, BTU? Yeah, you remember those days. Remember the days where those stocks were sitting there at all-time lows and nobody gave a shit? I got you involved at lows. Remember KMI? You remember these stocks, right? Remember ATI? What's up, Raging Bull? Right? How's my track record, right? Flawless. I gave you a 2-cent option. It went to $2. That's 100 bagger, Holmes. You know what that means? If you put $2,000 into it that afternoon, you were worth $250,000. How's my track record? I could have given you 3,000 trades in a row that didn't work after that one trade. You guys remember ATI? You guys never even heard of the company ATI until I brought it to you, right? ATI? You probably still don't know what the company does. It's a chemical company that helps the manufacturing of steel. Of course it is. Did you know about that before you met me? Well, the stock was $3 when I gave it to you back in the day. Track record, right? How's that for my track record? Remember AMD? Did you guys know me back in 2002? Did you ever see me on that Cheddar? Remember when Cheddar used to actually talk about stocks only? I don't know what Cheddar does anymore, but I was on this program on Cheddar, and they were asking everybody what your favorite stock is, and I said AMD. AMD, the guy said, yeah, AMD. You got a problem with that? I said, it's coming out of the Andy Dufresne pattern. And he said, what the hell's an Andy Dufresne pattern? And I said, you got to sign up for my service if you want to know about the Andy Dufresne and my track record, of course. So what the hell is my point? All right. My track record is awesome. But if you join my website tonight, and I hope you are there tonight, drinks are on me. Tonight we're schmoozing. We're talking with Chris. We're going to be talking nuclear stocks. We're going to talk about the inability for the market to ever go down, ever again. Where's my guy? Oh, you out there? Intolerable, right? Remember when you were all pissed off that I kept saying how the market's not going to go down? Yeah, how's that working out for you, by the way? Have we gone down yet? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We've been in a bearish market now since August 19th. What have we done? We're down 10 points on the Qs. Oh, this seasonality is crazy. This volatility is killing me. Uh-huh. How's that for your track record? I'll show you a track record. I'll show you. You want to see a track record? Ask any shorter if they have any money left. See how their track record's doing, shorten the market. Right? Ask what's the name? Harvey Dent. Oh, that's the. How's all the perma bears doing, huh? How's their track record? So you guys, you want to still talk about track records? Yeah, I'll show you some track records. So, all right, before we get started, right, on track record day, what stocks do you think we traded today? I'll give you a hint. Earnings. Because that's what we do. And that's why my track record is very easy to go document, because what trade did we do yesterday? Macy's and Dollar Tree. Track record. What did we do the day before that? That's right, those earnings reports. What did we do 2 weeks before that? Remember Cisco? Remember Home Depot? Remember Lowe's? Track record. How about that Newegg short? Don't forget about the Newegg short for 100 points. That's on the track record, right? Don't forget. Two people are talking about IBM. What's up? Oh, there goes another stock. You remember when I got people into Hood at $8 and I said this thing, if it breaks 20, it could go right back to 50 and then 80? Yeah, track records. But I'm also curious more about the track record. The track record, right? The track record, is it on stocks that I did? Again, this is the bigger question. If they were, and again, my job is to provide winning trades to my audience and my members. That's my job. You shouldn't care what I'm doing with my money. And as a matter of fact, the best move of the day happened on the CRM when I sold it. And again, track record's intact. I made my 2 points, but I left 5 points on the table. So is the track record what I did, what was mentioned, what may or may not have happened, or if it did happen at all? So if it was said and nobody did it actually happen? Or if somebody did it and it wasn't mentioned, did it happen in fact at all? And do we put that on the track record? Now, we're all confused. But you won't be confused tonight, because we'll be drinking and tequila. Oh, where is it? I might actually bust this thing open. Speaking of track records, Kenny in VWAP We Trust, signed by the one and only Brian Shannon. Yeah? Yeah? I don't need a track record when I got an autographed bottle of tequila from Brian Shannon. This is worth a lot more than a track record. And by the way, tonight, every time I mention track record, you got to take a shot of tequila. We're all going to be dead in a half an hour. Hey, what about my other track record? You guys, have you heard me mention that I like silver for the last 5 or 6 years since it broke $15 an ounce? It's at $40 an ounce now, track record. Does that qualify? Oh, wait, hang on. Let me bust out through. So wait, hang on, wait. 2003, 2004. Again, how many years am I allowed to go back for the track record? Take a shot, by the way. You guys like Sydney Sweeney, right? Look, I got a poster now. I never knew who this chick was. There she is. You trading AEO? Track record. Hey, you remember when I got you guys into Palantir at the IPO that day? And I told you want to own this stock for the rest of your life because their job is killing terrorists and business is a booming. Track record. Oh, yeah. And then I also made that announcement that I was getting out of the Palantir at 180 and that it's for the first time ever a decent looking short. Track record. Bang. Sick. So tonight, not only are we going to be talking about track records, take a shot, Not only are we going to be talking about track records, we're going to be talking about the wonderful 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. We're going to be talking about the inability for the market to ever go down ever again and the levels that we're looking for to qualify to get aggressively short, if that ever does ever happen ever again. We're going to talk a little bit more about the nuclear stocks because I am a fan. And the reason I'm a fan is that my friend Don, you know what? I'm not calling him. His name is Chris. I'm gonna call him Clay. His mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. His mom called him Muhammad. He wants to be known as Muhammad. You call him Muhammad. I'm gonna call him Clay. I'm gonna call him Chris. Chris had a big portfolio, and most of it was nuclear and uranium stocks, and most of them did really, really well. And I like the premise of the comeback of the nuclear since the Fukushima. And then, if you don't know, I was out in Colorado at one of the greatest places. If anybody has kids that are thinking about getting married, Estes Park, Colorado, the Black Canyon Lodge or something. The hall opens up to the mountains, and the backdrop is the mountains, and it was the greatest thing, the most fantastic spot. It's the second most popular spot to get married in the entire country. My cousin waited 3 months for this spot to open up. And what was my point? I met a long, he's not my cousin. I don't really have much of a family. It's my wife's family. I don't want to go into the whole 21andMe saga, but they found a new relative with the swabs, and it's hilarious. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but let's just say we have a long lost cousin, and he happens to be in the world of finance, and we started talking. And the dude left the country. He made so much money. Now he lives in one of the territories. I think it's St. Thomas, one of those. And he sold his entire portfolio and everything he's got now, every penny he owns, every moment, everything that he's got is all nuclear and uranium. And you should have seen the look on this guy's face when I was like, hey, I'm liking that sector. And he was like, yeah, let me tell you a little bit more. So I like it when I'm hearing things from different angles because we're in the matrix. And when that kind of thing happens, I take it under advisement. So we're going to talk a little bit about nuclear stocks. And I just heard from our DJ. So our DJ is going to show up around 10 o'clock, and he's going to do a whole mix about track records. He's going to take the record and track it. Get it? Track record. Track record. Track record. So at 10 o'clock, we're going to DJ. We're going to have we're going to have a great time. And what we're also trying to do, right, is, get to know you, get to know me. Let me show you some ideas. And then ideas, maybe I'll let you hang in the secret lair overnight and you get to see me in action. And we could all build a new track record together starting tomorrow. Starting with tomorrow, sit. Do I have your attention now? Good. It's free. All you got to do is email me, kennyglick@aol.com. No, Martin, you're not invited. Sorry, you cut off. By the way, that's my cutoff. 9 trials, and you cut off. After the third one, we were like, you know what? I don't think this guy's ever going to join. After the 9th trial that you've taken and canceled, we know your IP address, buddy. You're not welcome anymore. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Come on, seriously. I know you love me. You love me that much that you have to sneak into my chat room using a different email address 9 different times, using your mom's credit card and your cousin's credit card and then canceling. Seriously, if you love me that much, join. Let's build that track record together, Shop. We're all going to be real drunk tonight. Say something about a track record. Huh? Is anybody even watching this? It's just me and you, Eric, I think, right? The Raging Bull guys. Is Raging Bull actually seeing this? Is anybody here from Raging Bull? Is Raging Bull even a thing? Or am I just pretending? What am I even doing here? Exactly. I asked myself that. Hey, Don Corleone is here. Don't call him Don. It's Don. Anybody in the CRM still? I don't know. Let's see. So going back to this whole track record thing, sports betting, yes. Let's talk sports betting. Because speaking of track records, god damn, right? There you go. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's talk about this Yankee endeavor, right? I've been making money betting against the Yankees all year. And then I got a little aggressive at the worst possible time. My track record stinks right now. They go and sweep the Nationals and they win 3 out of 4 against the White Sox. And I'm getting beat right now. But even though my track record over the last 10 games is not too good, yesterday, when they were up 3-0, and you got plus 230 in your favor, knowing that the Astros are not going to lie down and die against the Yankees. The Yankees aren't going to sweep the Astros. So then you take that money and you put a little bit extra now that you're getting the odds in your favor. And then when the Yankees blew that game, you won back most of the money that you've lost. So here we are in the last 10 games, we're 2-8. But I just broke even. Track record means nothing. See what I'm saying? But speaking of track records, the number one track record in all sports betting is well, there's 2 track records, right? And again, you're wondering why I was a Notre Dame fan before I became a Georgia fan. I'm a Georgia fan now because my daughter goes there. They don't win the big game. They win some big games, but they never win. Right? You know who else doesn't win the big game? Texas. How great was that bet on Ohio State? But more importantly here, you want a track record? Right? Does this need to be documented in the track record? I've been betting against the Jets since the 5th grade. I've been gambling on sports since the 5th grade when I lived next to a bookie. And it was a lot of fun. He was this big juice head guy. He knew Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno would show up every once in a while to his house. Guy taught me everything there is about gambling. I used to sell fireworks. A lot of fun. And he taught me about streaks. And that's why sports gambling in the market trend following. That's why I believe, I was into the baseball cards and I was into sports gambling. Combine those two, speculation on a player, the player does well, the card price goes up, and you sell into the strength like the Jose Canseco, right? But then you speculate on a guy like Mike Devereaux. You guys know Mike Devereaux? Nobody does. But he was a hot prospect at the time, and I've got 5,000 of his rookie cards that aren't worth shit. But at one point, they were worth $1, and now they're not worth even zero. Same thing with stocks. If you overstay your welcome in a long trade and it goes down, and next thing you know, you should have sold. Point being, track records. The Jets. Right? The Jets. No streak more intact than the Jets franchise sucking. You know it, right? You know they're not going to win the Super Bowl, right? This year, right? So if you bet against them every game and you stay consistent, and I mean you got to pony up some cash every once in a while because you're going to have to lay out, $320 to win 100. And if they lose that game, you got to pony up some cash the next week. But that's the best part about live betting. Because when the Jets take a lead, you still know they're going to lose, and then you get odds in your favor. But if you stay consistent, just like any trade that you have that works really well, and the consistency is what makes you the money. You got to stick with the program. So if you consistently bet against the Jets, you never lose. Just like consistently betting against UVXY. You can't lose as long as you stay with the program. Don't overtrade it. Don't go leveraging it like I did once or twice. And you should come out ahead. So, of course, I take the under every year, but most importantly, I bet against the Jets. I've been betting against the Jets every game religiously pretty much my whole life. And that's why I'm proud to say that I might be one of those sports gamblers that comes out ahead every year. I don't bet over my head. I never let it get crazy. And, even during this little Yankees moment, I've won most of my money back, even though my track record was pretty awful. Drink. So what the hell are we doing here, right? Why are we having this conversation about track records? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I want to build a new track record with you. And the way that's going to happen, it's going to start tonight. What's my track record? How many shots of tequila can I do without passing over? My track record says 8. Maybe we go for 9 today, so I could add that to my track record. Drink. But I'd like you guys to come, instead of me talking about it and looking at these charts and blah, 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 you get it. The trades work. But you got to see them in action. Because then it's just some schmuck on the internet talking about track records. Right? So somebody wants to know, so how is it possible that a guy with a 98% success rate, right, can lose money? I think is that your question? I'm not sure. But there's a guy on the internet and on the TV. I've seen him do a TV commercial. I forgot what his name is. 98% winning, 98% win rate, otherwise known as a track record. Drink. 98% win rate. And then if you read the bottom, it says on closed trades. What? A 98% win rate on closed trades. A 98% win rate over 10 years, he says, on closed trades. What's that last part now? Oh, 98% win rate on closed trades, huh? So what that means is he doesn't count the option trades that he bought and they expired. Oh, that's not part of the track record. They expired workless. We don't want to count that as a loss because that would ruin the track record. Drink. You see? Another flaw of the track record. Plus my son going 16 for 18 and losing $3,000 in a month. Impressive, right? It's about what am I going to do for you tomorrow or tonight. So send me an email right now. I'll wait. KennyGlick@AOL.com. It's a think piece, right? How many times do you give your email address out? Nobody cares. I give my email address out and everybody says, AOL, what that? It's a think piece, you see? It's a conversation starter. That's why I keep it. Plus, it works. And let's bring it back to trading. If you got something that works, why fix it? Why change it? You guys want to see a chart? I'll show you a chart. You ready? I'll give you some charts. Now, you know what? Let's still talk about track records. Drink. Now, the people that are in my chat room, they're laughing their ass off because they know what we did today, right? They don't need to see this review. This is just for internet purposes, right? And I don't know how many times I could say the trades work now. 1,093 times in a row for profitability. Wait, let me try this. Maybe this will be different. I'll try something different. Ready? Let's go. Let me dim the lights. Are you ready? Hey, the lights didn't dim. Relax. Light yourself a candle. Sit back and dream of all the money you're going to make when we begin anew. Track record. Breathe in. Track record. Drink. Breathe in the track record. And breathe out the win-loss ratio. One more time. Breathe in the track record. And breathe out the risk management. Don't breathe out the risk management, by the way. You want to breathe in the risk management. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Because my point, if you haven't caught on for the last 45 minutes, track records ain't nothing without risk management. And I don't know if you could see it, but it's tattooed right across my forehead, right there. You see it? Risk management. Risk reward. That's more important. Way, way more important. What time's the snooze? 6 o'clock tonight. I will put on a Grateful Dead show from this day in history. Let's pick one today. So this day in history, what were the boys doing? What were the boys doing on September? Let's go. Hopefully there's one from 1973. September, Grateful Dead, September 4. Ooh, let's go. Was I at this show? I think I might have been at this show. 9/4/91. Where was it? No. Well, maybe I was at this show. No. Ohio. Oh, good. This is a good one. We got the live show. No, that's from sick. Oh, that's actually the 7th. How about 9/4/91? Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, Richfield. We did another one. You guys like the Grateful Dead? So do I. Ooh, good show. Nice. Second set. Yes. That's my favorite foursome. They come in out of the second set. Scarlet Fire, Estimated He's Gone. Drum Space, China Doll, The Wheel, Throwing Stones, Not Fade Away, and then they wait as the encore. Let's go. Isn't a show for tonight. So between 6 and 9, I'll put the Grateful Dead on. And then at 8 o'clock, I'll come on. We'll talk a little bit about track records. And then we will crunch some charts, talk with Chris about all those uranium stocks, the indices, some of the what these companies kind of do, because there's a whole subsector to what type of nuclear stock they are, that kind of thing. And then, of course, we'll really talk about the inability for this market to ever go down again, because it is really something to behold. I mean, it really is. This market is just awesome. And if you're trying to fight it, then you're doomed. You're doomed. Also, next week, or not next week, because I don't work on September 11th. I take a day of mourning, and I'm not joking around about that. The next schmooze, I'm going to have a friend on from another platform, Cobra Trading. His name's Chad Hessing. Because we're just experimenting with some other platforms. Because I know I got some new day traders in the house, and sometimes Thinkorswim's not exactly what you. It's good, but yeah, it's all right. There are better platforms to choose from. I want to show you a Cobra. I was trying to become familiar with Public. Anybody use Public as a day trading platform? They wouldn't let me trade the options after 3:30. I mean, that's the whole game. I don't know if you guys trade, but let me show you this trade. Hang on a second. We had a six bagger, 600% on your money into the close, and they don't let you trade zero date options with a half an hour left in the day because they don't want to have any exercising, and getting, positions on. So they don't even let you put the trade on. It's the whole game that last half an hour. So that was kind of awful. All right. Now we're talking. So we have this trade that works every time, right? Talking about track records. Every time's a pretty good track record, right? And it's this trade. Where the Shaolin Temple, of course. I will fight you. You disrespect. Sorry, I can't. You will die here. I trained the Shaolin Temple. What happened? Did I get hacked? What happened? What what happened? This thing on? By the way, before we go any further, right? I know I got a couple of minutes left. Actually, let's just run this until they throw me off the air. I'm just gonna let it run the whole rest of the day, see if anybody's paying attention. Um, Nobody's short right now, right? You understand that shorting is short lived and you're gonna die. I mean, we try every day, and we shorted the market this morning. I mean, we did, and luckily we understand that you can't stay short. But that premise of not being able to stay short. So when I was talking about this AI stock, right? And again, this is one of the first AI stocks, and the funny part is it's not even an AI stock, but this one was the first stock that started the AI frenzy about a year and a half ago. AI. And that's why this market is a joke to me because, we bought a stock called Quantum, right? QNTM. No, is that the one? Yeah, QNTM pharmaceutical company, right? We bought the stock at $5. And I remember this guy was criticizing me. This guy doesn't even know what it's saying. This guy thinks it's a quantum stock. No. What I did know is that this market's on fire and they're buying anything with the word quantum in it. Who's the joke on now, fella? The stock went from 5 to 40. Not because they had some sort of drug breakthrough, because the name of the stock is Quantum Pharmaceuticals. Who cares what they do? I'm in. That's the market we're in. You're going to fight that? Anyway, but AI, this isn't even an AI stock, supposedly. As somebody was trying to explain that to me today. I know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. It's just a symbol and a price. And if the symbol and the company, whatever they do, whether they make dildos or AI or fake electric cars in China, if you faux show bro and break VWAP, I'm in. Track record, I'm in. You want to fight me? Fight you. This guy knows what I'm talking about. But you see this AI trade? You think I care that it's not an AI stock? Who cares what it is, right? That's where you want to be as a trader. As a day trader, right? We'll talk more about fundamentals and knowing companies later on tonight. But if you're a day trader who wants to get paid right now, You trade this, the setup that works every freaking time, track record, right? So we came in this morning and we're thinking, man, this AI looks pretty freaking horrible. Wow. The numbers came out. Here's the 2-day chart. The numbers came out. I'll put it on I'll give you 2 days worth on a 5-minute chart. You guys see the charts now, right? Everybody okay? Track record, right? So yesterday, numbers come out. Actually, the thing spiked first, then it sold off, and it gave us these ranges from last night. So right there was this was the aftermarket range, and then the low of the day. So this morning, man, that same spot that was a hard chance, it couldn't get over yesterday, couldn't get over today because the market's rigged. Price pays. So then, even though I came in thinking I can't wait to buy this stock, so far, nothing was telling me to buy it. Nothing was telling me to buy it until bum, 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 fake out, shake out, breakout. Faux, show, VWAP, and the bro. And where did we bro to? Blue line. To orange line. Blue line to orange line. The trade that hasn't failed in 3 years, track record. 1,093 of these in a row. Seriously, right? And we bought the stock, we sold, and then it came crashing back down and we sold the rest. But then, track record, it held 15. And I'm thinking, oh, I should have bought it. 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 God damn it. I kept saying I should buy it. And then I finally bought it because it broke back over the orange line. And when a stock gets over today's VWAP and prior day, it tends to stay in the uptrend. And we look at where 2 days worth of VWAP was, and it was telling us to go to 1592. And then we looked at 3 days worth of VWAP and said, you know what, we better stick around because the stock could possibly go to, it could possibly go to $16.15. And then we said, hey, we better stay in the stock because the 5-day VWAP's telling us that it could go to 16.25. And that's why the joke today was it only went to 16.24. I suck at this. I missed it by a penny. And the stock, the trade's still on for some of them. For some of us, I got stopped out right there because I put my stop at 16.08 and 16 because I was getting bored. So I put stops at some of the levels where I sold some, and they went and got me, and the stock hasn't done anything since. But this is what I'm talking about. These trades continue to work at a ridiculous win rate. The track record is implied. So if you came in today, and again, this works a lot better on earnings reports because there's more activity. When there's more activity, there's more chances of more algorithmic participation. Algorithmic participation, quant firms, high frequency trading firms, high frequency quant firms. What do they use? You guessed it, VWAP. And then when's the best time to buy a stock? Gap down on earnings, fake out, shake out, and a VWAP break. Whee! For 5 points. Track record intact. Another winning trade. And then you got Duluth, which I completely forgot about. Right? But look at this move. Fake out, shake out, VWAP break at 280. The stock wound up going to 466, but on the way there, and as I was explaining this as it was ripping, hey, we missed the first burst, but now we got a new faux show, bro, buy it. Oh, wait, another one, faux show, bro, buy it. And then a little faux show, and then finally, it ran out of steam, rolls over. We get stopped out when it really just rolled over and broke down. And then if you were savvy enough, hey, listen, you made money on the way up, might as well make money on the way down. But the long trade was the one that we were involved in, and it worked. Add it to the track record. See, we're building track records right here live. So there was more. Its name was Credo, right? CRDO. And what's our philosophy? Our philosophy is the stock is gapped up. We want to short it, right? And in this one, this was really, really quick. We shorted the VWAP break right at the open, got paid, and then it ripped right back in our face, and we quickly got out because shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. But then those levels that it bounced off later, right, became a new target for this. This is what we call the VWAP jiggle or the shuffle. So it's just jiggling along, blah, 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 shuffling along, doesn't know what it wants to do. Then it breaks the range and it became a new short. And again, the reason that this trade became a short again is because you could define your risk, right? You're shorting it here. VWAP is one of your stops and the top of the range is your second, right? And then look where it went. Boom, for another winning trade. Long-term P&L is what matters. Thank you very much. Exactly. Right. Because last year, my track record was awesome, but one trade wiped out my entire year and then some. And I'm not embarrassed. Well, I'm kind of embarrassed about the story, but it's a story of just what not to do. And basically, that's why I feel that I'm one of the best educators in the business, because I'm honest enough to tell you that I ruined my entire year and then some last August when I had 370 naked freaking calls on UVXY and I got freaking destroyed to the point where I'll never forget that guy's voice when they called me with my first margin call ever in my history of my career. And I was like, listen, man, you know, this is a reverting product. It's going to go right back down within the next couple of days. Sure it is. I still hear that dude's voice echoing in my head. Sure it is. Yeah. August 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th last year, I blew up my whole freaking world. Yeah. I was short a ton of UVXY. I was going on a road trip to bring my daughter to Georgia. Never should have had this position on while I was leaving. And something called the yen carry unwinding bullshit story. And UVXY ripped 45 points in my face, and I had close to 37,000 shares of it. Short. Not fun. And I was forced to cover. And then I wasn't even around because I was in Georgia for the next 5 or 6 days. I wasn't even around to try to fight my way back because it collapsed 30 points 5 days later, just like I told the margin clerk, but the margin guy, you know, and listen, if it would have went against me one more day, I wouldn't even be here. That's how bad it was. If it would have went one more day against me, I would have had to sell my home, and my wife would have been pretty pissed off. So I had to eat the loss, and I'll be digging out of that hole for quite some time. And that's not part of my track record, because the track record, of course, is this wonderful trade that works all the time. And that's part of why I tell this story. You deviate from the path for a second and you blow yourself up. I got a trade that works pretty damn well. Why am I fucking around with this UVXY? Because I got greedy and I thought it was free money. And I was like, you know what? If it's never going to go up, I'm going to keep shorting it and keep shorting it and keep shorting it. And I was like, you know what? I had close to, you know, there was some of them were $2 contracts that I had sold at $6, but some of these contracts I had sold at $1.50, right? And they were down to like 15 cents. There was no reason for me to let them sit out there. I could have covered. And that's why you sell the story to scam newbies to pay me. I don't know what that means, but yeah, whatever that means. And that's why you meant to say tell the story. Yeah, that's why I tell the story.